First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, I am Greg Nibbler. That is a shot of Portland right there. And of course, you can see the waterfront a little bit. And this weekend, that's going to be full of a lot of activity because the Pride Festival, the Portland Waterfront Pride Festival, starts up on Saturday. Events have already been happening. And of course, the big parade is on Sunday. We're going to talk about all of that and a lot more right now because I am joined by the Executive Director of Pride Northwest, Debra Porta. Debra, thanks for being here, and especially right now when, as we know, you are probably very, very busy. I'm sure you're fielding a lot of calls and handling a lot of different things that are going on right now, but we appreciate your time here with us. And I think to start off, just for everybody to get the backstory and understand a little bit more, can you talk about Pride Northwest just as an organization and what all it is that you do, which I know is a lot of things to cover, but even just a basic explainer.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So Pride Northwest is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're a charitable entity, and we were founded in 1994. And the Portland Pride Waterfront Festival and Parade is the largest thing that we do, but we are active year-round, building community with our young people, supporting smaller grassroots organizations, supporting prides around the state of Oregon and Southwest Washington, holding other events, community convening spaces, and so on. It's a lot. Every year is a little different, but it's really just a lot of community building, community lifting up, and it just looks different every time we do it.
I would imagine, and probably, different places. I'm sure that, with all the different events, like you mentioned, like around the entire Northwest, I'm sure it changes from city to city, location to location, how that all happens. Talking about here, for the Portland event, can you give everyone, again, I keep asking for the backstory, but I think it's really interesting and educational to a little bit of the backstory about Pride Fest and everything that happens with that, especially here on the Portland waterfront.
So, well, Pride commemorates Stonewall, the riots of Stonewall back in '69. Pride was being planned before that. It just wasn't called Pride. And it's just grown over the years. It's worldwide. Portland has held a Pride of some kind or another since the early 70s. The first parade was in 1976 downtown, organized by local community members, Kathleen Sadat, some others. And then Pride Northwest as an organization was founded in 1994 to give the planning process stability and to raise much needed funds. It is not an inexpensive endeavor. And just to build that continuity and that consistency to just keep growing Pride, to become more and more representative of the size of our community over the years.
Which I would imagine has changed tremendously. Since 1976.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Well, Pride always has that element of we're here, you're going to see us, and we're not going anywhere. It has become more celebratory over the years. Here in the Pacific Northwest, particularly in Portland, we enjoy more freedom and more acceptance than a lot of other areas. There's still a lot of work to do. But comparatively speaking, we know that we live in a good place. So it's much more celebratory and inclusive of lots of allies and other folks. But we never lose sight of why Pride exists, and it is our visibility and our power in numbers and our community coming together to find strength with each other.
And that's an important factor to remember, as all the sides of that, of what that means. You mentioned a couple other things, and I want to talk about this weekend and the events going on, but just as far as Pride Northwest, you mentioned outreach for different ways as well. There's planning, parades or different Pride organizations, but as far as outreach for educational purposes, can you touch on what some of those different things are that you do?
Sure. Well, again, that shifts over time. That changes. For example, we have lots of partners, whether they're corporate sponsor partners, other organizations, agencies, policymakers, et cetera. And so a lot of what we do is communicate with them, and whether it's meeting with their leadership teams, meeting with elected officials, meeting with policymakers, decision makers, funders, et cetera, to really ensure that those who hold positions of influence and decision making understand who our community is, understands who we are, what we need, what we want, and most importantly, that we have access to those spaces. Pride Northwest is very clear that we do not expect people in power, for lack of a better way to put it, to just call us and not talk to anybody else. We expect decision makers to talk to the community. And so our priority is ensuring that our community has access and is in these spaces, whatever those spaces happen to be. So that's a large part of what we do.
Yeah, that's so reaching out and making sure that, as you said, visibility, that for just the parade alone, that's what's going on with that. Talking about the events that are happening right now, can you fill us in on, I know some stuff has already started, but this weekend coming up is going to be huge. And can you talk to us about the entire Waterfront Festival that's happening this weekend and what people can expect?
Sure. So the Waterfront Festival starts on Saturday, begins on Saturday. It opens at noon, closes at 8. Sunday opens at 11:30, closes at 6. So it's both days. We have a brand new stage that we're adding to because we expanded the festival last year, so it's bigger. We're super excited about this new stage because it gives us a really strong opportunity to highlight and lift up and spotlight a lot of our local talent. That, you have one big stage, there are only so many folks who are going on that stage. So we're really excited about the opportunity that it gives us to lift up the amazing talent we have here locally and regionally. We have the LGBTQIA2S+ Performing Arts Pavilion that's going to have a really fantastic also visual arts display. New stage. We have areas in the festival it's going to be warm, it's going to be hot this weekend. So, shaded areas, places to get water, have a seat, listen to some music, lots of food, lots of local organizations, national organizations, lots of small queer business owners. It's a mix. We have lots of community spaces for youth, for families, for our seniors. There's going to be an amazing veterans area that we've been coordinating with those folks on for a while. And it's just really a place to come and find what it is that you're most interested in. It's going to be there. And then the parade Sunday, obviously.
I was going to say, the parade, happening on Sunday, which got some good footage from past parades here. But taking a look at this, talk to everybody, maybe for somebody who's never been to, say, one of the parades, what can they expect when they go down to a Portland Pride Festival parade?
So the Portland Pride Parade is the largest parade in the city of Portland, by far, and that's from the city. And the Portland Pride Parade is just a lot of joy. It is smart. You can just see it in the people, and you got goosebumps just even trying to describe it because you kind of have to experience. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of organizations. There are a lot of folks on the sidelines watching, cheering on. It is just a really positive, energetic, rambunctious space that is the highlight of the year for so many folks. We hear quite often that this is the favorite parade for a lot of people who tend to be in parades, especially organizations and groups and such, just because of the feel of it, because there is nothing else that feels like the Portland Pride Parade.
And I know for the Grand Marshal of the parade this year, there was something specific that you went with as well.
Sure. Well, we're honoring the drag community. The Grand Marshal for the Portland Pride Parade, we tend to utilize that space as a way to lift up either an important group, an important message that needs to get out, or important work happening in the community. And so it made total sense to us to celebrate our drag community because they're on the front lines of the fight for equality for queer folks and have been forever, really. The drag community, the entertainment and the artistic expression of it is something that is deeply embedded in Portland's culture. And unlike other areas of the country, actually, there's a deep, deep history here. And the connection to the queer community is unmistakable. And it made sense to us to make sure that community knows that we honor and celebrate our drag performers, and for the larger community to understand that we are going to be visible and that this is an important artistic expression of not just queer folks, but drag in general, because not every drag performer is part of the community. It's an art form. So we really wanted to just ensure that folks understand that our drag community is very, very important to us and that they deserve to be honored.
And that was some footage there from the Guinness World Record, 48 hours, I believe it was, that went on for the drag dancing, which is amazing. I do have to ask, something with that, because you mentioned that Portland is seemingly a pretty good place for compared to maybe some other places when it comes to allyship and all of that. What would you have to say to those who? There's always the rumors that there's going to be protesters or people who are against of the Pride Parade and what have you. What would you say to those people who would be anti-Pride Festival?
Well, that's a different message than the one I'd give to folks thinking about coming to Pride. For folks who don't like it, that's a personal choice. And Pride isn't for people who don't support our community. That's not what Pride is about. Pride is about us. And Pride is about our people celebrating each other, celebrating who we are, and being visible to everyone. And we will do that whether naysayers attend or not. So that's really, I guarantee you that somebody who is part of the LGBTQIA2S plus community, whether they've ever told you that or not, somebody who is part of this community. And I think that's a little bit of a wake-up call for a lot of folks when they realize that it's much closer to them than they think it is. And that we are much closer than they think we are. And what I would tell folks who are thinking about attending in general is just to come and have an open mind, come ready to enjoy, come ready to smile, laugh, cheer, and just really, really have a great time.
It is a great time. It is a great time. Mm-hmm. So again, all of that starts off on Saturday as for the Waterfront Festival, anyway, for the Portland Pride Waterfront Festival. Any other events that people should know about leading up to it?
Well, it's leading up to tomorrow's Friday.
I guess it's tomorrow.
I will say, we're partnering with the Ankeny Alley Business Association in that area down there. There's a series of street fairs happening throughout the summer. And so we are working with them and partnering on what it can look like to spread Pride a little bit across town and to offer not alternative, but in addition to Pride celebrations. Some folks may want something that's a little bit smaller. Some folks love the waterfront. And what we're looking at is what does it look like to begin offering and having multiple opportunities to celebrate Pride in different ways so that folks can find what works best for them. And the Ankeny Alley folks just happen to have this series of events already being planned. So we made the decision to partner together for one of them to be a Pride celebration. It's an accessible space. There's lots of sidewalk. There's lots of pavement. All the restaurants are involved. They're going to have roaming entertainment. There's going to be a stage there. It's just a lot of fun. It's very, very community neighborhood feel, very family friendly. They're going to have a pet parade. Fortunately, it's in the morning before it gets hot. And I super suggest that folks check that out.
Well, Debra, thank you very much for joining us here. Like I said, I'm sure you've got a lot going on, but we appreciate you taking some time to talk to us here for Fox 12 Now. And for everybody out there, where can they go to find the best information about everything that's happening?
So our event website is going to be the best, and that is portlandpride.org. For anyone who wants to check out Ankeny, there will be a link to that from our official events page, portlandpride.org. Official Pride events, and it's all on there.
Great. Well, Deborah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And, looking forward to a great time this weekend.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Really appreciate that. So that was Debra Porta, again, talking about Pride happening this weekend. And she mentioned Ankeny Alley. We've actually done some coverage of that too, and some of the events that they have. So you can find a lot of that on our YouTube channel, Fox 12 Oregon. Take a look at that. All the interviews that we do here on Fox 12 now and the coverage that we have is up there as well. We've covered a lot of things today, a wide range of different topics of what is happening, from breaking news to Pride to how to fix up your house with Eric G. So that's just on this day. We're live every weekday, 1 p.m. Pacific. And appreciate all of you being a part of this and joining and finding this show. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on all of our apps, we're on the website, and you can check out all that past coverage there. If you have an event or topic that you think might be a good one to discuss,